And welcome all to, oh shoot, I'm already messing up. This is 6.6. Actually, this is the first half of 6.6, so 6.6a, and actually this and this are what we're going to quiz on together, and then the rest of 6.6 is reproduction hormones, so we're going to do that with the reproduction section in topic 11. So that's kind of how it fits into our quiz schedule. So anyway, hormones and glands. Let's do a little review here. We have two kinds. We have exocrine and we have endocrine. And the main difference is going to be kind of their structure in the way that they release the hormones or whatever the substance they release is, and then in whatever the substance is. Those are the two differences. So exocrine glands, you can see sweat, oil, wax, enzymes. And we talked about enzymes here when we talked about exocrine glands, when we talked about the pancreas, and we are in the digestive system. A ton of different digestive enzymes there, the pancreas. And so that's the substance part for the exocrine gland, is that it secretes substances into ducts. Which are just tubes that go basically to an epithelial surface. So it might be secreted into the stomach or into the small intestine or like onto the skin in the case of sweat, right? Or oil. All right, so exocrine glands, the substance is hormones. And just so you know, I don't know if this will come up. It could, but it's an easy thing. Two types, proteins. Proteins and steroids. And we won't talk about it, but they have different mechanisms of action. How each of those things work are different. But anyway, those are the two types. And then endocrine glands secrete these hormones directly into the bloodstream, and then these guys can be transferred throughout the body relatively quickly and control a bunch of different types of target cells. Okay, so here, this is the pancreas, as you will recognize, and pancreas has exocrine and endocrine glands. The ones that we talked about when we talked about digestive system, the exocrine glands, all of these little cells, right, are creating and secreting different things like enzymes, and then they go out of these tubes, these ducts, and then they are, so here, this would be the small intestine, and they're just like secreted directly into the small intestine. They do not need to go into the blood first, right? They just go right in there. And then over here, endocrine, as you can see, there's this capillary network around these cells that the cells just go and secrete their hormones directly into the blood that just get like pumped out and move through the body. Okay. All right. So just an overview of some of the glands that we're going to talk about. I'll start up here. Pineal gland. This one is responsible for producing melatonin. I'm going to write them here just in case you want to just have like a tonin. In case you want to have like a big guide. So thyroid, the thing that you're gonna read about is thyroxine. I keep getting ahead of myself here. We're gonna talk about the pancreas, not really the adrenal glands. We don't really talk about adrenaline in the text. Obviously, you're gonna have to know about insulin and glucagon. These, obviously, we will go over in the second half of 6.6. Let's see, pituitary. Okay, this is something that, let's see, ADH. We talked about ADH when we were talking about the kidneys, and that is a hormone that helps with collecting water in the collecting duct, reabsorbing water in the collecting duct of the nephron in the kidney, but also this is just an important one in general. It's kind of the master gland. And the hypothalamus isn't part of the endocrine system itself, but it works in conjunction with the pituitary gland. This is part of the nervous system. And these two things work together to kind of control all of the other glands in your body. So, yeah. Oh, another one is leptin. That is also in the text. And this doesn't come from any of these glands. This hormone actually comes from adipose tissue or fat. So, yeah. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of the different things there. Let's go to the next thing. I won't really stay on this for too long here, but these are a bunch of things that our hormones are in control of. And it's just worth mentioning again that all of these different hormones that control these different things have to go to specific target cells, right? So each hormone is specific to a certain target cell, and that target cell recognizes a hormone because it has a specific receptor on top. If we have this hormone, it maybe won't fit there, but this hormone, I don't know if that's the right shape, but maybe that one will, right? Okay, cool. Let's move on. All right, I just want to talk real quick about the connection between the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. So, because these are connecting these two different systems. So the hypothalamus, as it says here, master nerve control center. So this thing is receiving information from your body about, your internal conditions and like what's going on in your body. And when it receives certain information, it is then going to relay that information to the pituitary, which is going to secrete some sort of hormone to another gland in your body to take control. So here it says secretes broad range of hormones regulating other glands in the body. Okay. And we have two parts of the pituitary that we don't really need to know the difference between, the posterior and anterior, the front and the back, right? But there are these two parts that we should just be aware of. All right, so here again is just a little diagram. Hypothalamus is located right here in the brain, and it's connected to the pituitary. So this is the thing that's receiving signals from your brain about the body's conditions, and then it is going to send signals either here or here. And the anterior and the posterior work in slightly different ways. And we don't need this in this level of detail, but I'm just going to briefly go over how each of them work, because I think it's important to just kind of see the difference to get an overall feel for how these things are connected. And I think that'll help you understand better and just kind of remember it better too. So in the hypothalamus, we have these neurosecretory cells. And what they're going to do is they're going to receive information, and they're going to relay information. And in these axons, actually, there are hormones that are called releasing hormones. So these are like pre-hormones. They are stored here, and they're going to travel through this blood, through the portal vein, and they're going to go down here into the anterior pituitary, right? This is how we're talking about this one. And then once they get into the anterior pituitary, they tell this pituitary to release other hormones, right? And so it's basically like this. The hypothalamus releases a releasing hormone, and then the anterior pituitary releases the actual hormone that needs to go somewhere else to some target cell in the body to have some specific function. Okay, so in this chart, this is kind of interesting. There's a bunch of different ones, and some you probably do need to know. Like these two, we'll talk about during reproduction, and then these two, that one as well. Growth hormone's a good one to know. So this GnRH, this is gonadotropin releasing hormone. So that's released by the hypothalamus, and it goes to the pituitary, and then the pituitary releases these things, right? These two, right? You can see GnRH releases these things, and then it has these effects on different target cells. Okay, so it's kind of a two-step system for the anterior pituitary, and then for the posterior pituitary, it's a little bit different. These neurosecretory cells, they just transmit the signal directly down here and then release the hormone that's stored in these axons directly into the capillary system that's in the pituitary, and then those just go directly right into the blood and then go wherever they need to in the body. So there is no middleman step there. The hormones come directly from the nerve cells that initiate in the hypothalamus and then go down to the posterior pituitary. And some examples of those are ADH. Okay, so that's posterior pituitary, and then oxytocin, which we'll also talk about during the next section. Okay. All right, just a quick review of ADH. Since now we can link, our kidney system to this, what we're doing now. When we are dehydrated, we're releasing ADH. ADH makes the collecting duct more permeable. Remember, it makes those aquaporins, and then it allows water to be reabsorbed into the body, and that makes a more concentrated urine. Okay, so that's an example. And actually, a lot of these are examples of negative feedback. You want to watch out for that. That's something that you'll be tested for sure, or tested on. And so let's say in this example, or just in this simple diagram, A is a stimulus that causes B, and then B reduces whatever that stimulus is. So if we're talking about ADH, okay, so A would be dehydration. When we're dehydrated, that causes ADH to be made. And then ADH in turn reduces, that's why there's this minus, reduces our dehydration. Okay, so that would be a negative feedback loop. All right, guys, hope that helped. That should be a good just intro, I think. And good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.